Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Tuesday. It's June 22nd. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And what looked like was going to be a range day turned out to be a fairly decent trend day. We really had two legs up here. We didn't quite get a measured move, as you can see. We didn't. You have a two-tiered channel here, and once we reached the high, that was pretty much it. And we missed that target by a good bit. But you could also get the target based off of the range here, and that would be this dash line would be your measured move. And you can see we found a little resistance there, but we broke higher, failed, and then turned down. So if you just measure that using our measured move tool, you can see that's that blue line right there. So a couple of different ways to find your, I would have been my first choice, and then I would have looked at this first leg, measured it. You can clearly see the two-legged correction right here that leads to your second leg up, but it just didn't quite get there. I mean, we could before 4 o'clock get there, but I doubt it. I don't see that happening probably. But anyway, that's the way I saw it today. We really spent from maybe just prior to 9 o'clock all the way to well into 2 o'clock trending up. Of course, we had a little bit of sideways action here. I would say this started around 10 o'clock and lasted 1:30. So really we spent a lot of the day in this real quiet sideways stuff here. So not a lot of trades today because of that. There were a few early on and there were a few from maybe 10 o'clock on. So, and you didn't really get a lot of chance to enter this unless you got in down here low. So anyway, let's back out. We'll go through the trades. Probably won't take long today. There's not a lot going on here. But we were clearly in this range. We had a move up, then we reversed. We had this blue channel working up, but we got to close outside right here, and we tried to move to a new high and failed, but we're so far away from the EMA on that lower high with that big signal bar. I like just trying to ride that back. You can see we made the high, then we made a lower high. It's always a chance it pushes back up, so you could almost argue for this to be green, but you can see we had the resistance right across there before. And originally that's where I had this line, was right across here like so, and you can see we had kind of a double test there. I moved it up as the day went on because we kept going higher, so I ended up moving this up, but at the time this is where most of our resistance was, and actually that's where the last real low point before we went higher again. So that's why I like that. Again, if you move it down here where I originally had it this morning, I think I had it right across here because that's where you get the most touches. We pushed higher a couple of times, but you can see we're getting most of the touches right across there. Actually, I think I actually had it right there, and that brings into that touch. And so that's like a triple test there. And it's a lower high off that high, and it's looking like a range day. We're way away from the EMA. You know we're going to snap back at some point. So I like that trade. Of course, then we move lower, come back, and I'd look at that as a double top. And you get this leg down, first entry, and then you get a second entry long that fails. It actually breaks higher here first and fails and turns down. I like going short on that. I don't know if I'd wait and go short way down here. I like going short on the engulfing bar. If you'd have let it break lower and then drop the limit order in there, I don't know if you'd have got filled or not. You really just pretty much had to have your stop there, I believe, to get filled. If you were trading and traded it that way, you'll probably know the difference anyway. But I don't remember if it would have come back and filled a limit order or not. Depends on how quick you got it in, maybe. But we drop on down, and then we get a first entry. We come back to the trend line, but we only get a first entry. And I don't think you want to go short there on that first entry. It's a pretty good signal bar. It is off the key entry point. We did confirm it here, so it's just further confirmation. But I think you need to wait on a second entry, and we don't get it. We run down, we make a new low, and then a first entry, and then a second entry. Of course, that signal bar is too bullish, but we bounce there again. And once you've got that, You really had a triple test right here. Notice you made that low, test it once, twice. But the problem is that looks really congested. But we push up and come back, and then we bounce again. And this is also, notice that new low, it's a first entry, second entry. So that's why I like that one. It's probably going to trap some traders on that triple test with a failure as well. We don't really look for failures or second entries when you get in a tight range like that. But if you see one that matches up with everything else, obviously take it into account. And so I like entering there. You get a higher low here, but you can't go long right into that resistance. And you see it pushes up and fails. And then you get the big bearish bar. I like going short there. The trend is down. We're probably going to retest this low. That's the first break, and there's a couple of legs up there. And this is also, you got a new swing low there. So this is also a second entry short. There's a lower high here, but just like the higher low over here that I talked about, you're right here, you're going short right into the support, and you just can't risk that. And it's a little congestive too. It would have worked. There's actually a failure right here, but again, you're so close to the lows there, I don't think it's worth taking. But in just a few minutes, you get a second entry short, and you got a really nice signal bar there. The problem is we just came off the lows, but on a second entry at the EMA with such a nice signal bar, you probably take that. I marked it green. I like the trade, but I only marked it green because it is a little congestive, and we just did come off the low. Although I don't have it on here, but there is a trend line working down through here. And you can see that. And that's the first break. So we'll probably try to push back down and at least test the lows again here if we don't make a new low, which we did. And then it bounces, and you get a higher low right here. Normally I'd want to wait on the reversal type pattern, which doesn't come till up here when you get the failure on the failed second entry short, but you're too far away from the EMA to enter right there. So with this being a range day and being a bounce off the lows, I like going long there. And that's a quick, easy move. And of course we come back. And this is only a first entry though, so I don't think you want to enter there. Plus when you get that inside bar with hardly nobody, that's congestion. It's probably because we're going higher, but I just don't think you want to risk it. And you actually get a failed second entry short right here. I didn't mark this because it's a lot of sideways stuff there. You're a little ways away from the EMA. I just don't think it's a good place to enter. And we come back, you get a second entry here, but look how flat that is. You can see the little range. Again, just I don't think you can enter there. And we run on up again. There's another failed second entry short, but look how, again, we're getting further and further away from the EMA. And there's probably a little short-term trend line work or trend channel working up through here. And you can see that's a little two-tiered channel. And then you get a first entry, second entry. But again, I don't think that's too congestive. That's not, we're probably going to come back to the trend line, which it does. It actually comes back and gets a break. And of course, you got this little channel working down. You get a break, move to a new low, and then we bounce, and you get a notice that new low, first entry short, second entry short. So when it breaks right higher right there, it's a failure. And even though we got a little sideways action, we didn't really, if you move this to the right hand side, we haven't really set up yet. It just looks like support there. You came back right here, made a low, you test it once, you test it twice. So it's a triple test, but as a triple test alone, it's not a good enough signal bar. You need a good signal bar there. However, with that new low and it being a failed second entry short, we're probably going to go higher there, which we do. And then it comes out, we're just kind of in a sideways range here. And I don't see anything else I like here until we get this failed second entry reversal here. Notice you made a new swing low there. It's lower than that one. And you get a first entry. And you can clearly see there's two legs up and the second entry short. Right here, it comes down and it bounces. I like going long there. And that was probably one of the better moves of the day right there. This thing takes off. And even though we don't recommend entering a new trade after 2 o'clock, you can manage this all the way up until, just before 3 o'clock or whatever. Your broker may kick you out at some point, but if you're managing a winner, it doesn't matter. It's, we don't want to enter a new trade because the last thing you want to do is get stuck in something like this. And you see this started around 14.55, and you might have got stuck in that before your broker kicks you out, and they got different rules. You need to know what time your broker will kick you out if you're still in a trade. And it's sometimes it's before 3, but it's usually somewhere right around 3, but prior to 3:15. So check with your broker, see what they tell you, and be aware of that. But that's why I wouldn't enter any new trades after 2 o'clock. I get that question a lot. Most of it's because you don't want to get stuck in something that you can't get out of. If you have a loss this late in the day, it's hard to make it back because you don't have any more trading time. If you get a loss early in the morning, you got all day to make it up for. You can even go take a break and come back and then make it up. But if you lose up here at 2:30, and you got no time to get it back. And sometimes, let's say like today, we've been trending up all day. When we go into that 3 o'clock hour, everybody starts exiting, and you get a sell-off. Of course, the price action tells you that's coming, but you never know. It doesn't. You could still push higher from somewhere in here and continue and close on the high of the day. So it's just the price action gets a little more squirrely and a little, because people are squaring up for the day that have been day trading. They start exiting and things like that. So you just got to be real careful. But that's how I saw it today. I think I talked about this last one. You got a new swing low there, first entry, second entry, nice signal bar. Doesn't matter about the signal bar on a failure anyway. And what you did, you just started another channel up there. And you can see it looks like we might have even got a break here and then move to a new high. It's not a very convincing close outside, but it is one all the same. So, and you can see that there, and you can see that midline playing in place there. And maybe that's an overshoot, but it looks like a two-tiered channel. So we could go higher yet still, but we'll see. But yeah, not a lot of trades today. I mean, really from about 9, a little after 9, all the way to 10:25, and then we had a couple of trades in there between 10 and noon, and then we just went sideways here mostly. I mean, I don't know what happened that slowed down so much right there. There was some Powell testified today at 1 o'clock, but generally that doesn't mean a whole lot. Maybe he said something favorable, because 1 o'clock comes right in here, and that's when we rallied again. But price action was telling us we're going higher anyway. We were either going to make this measured move on the range or try to make a measured move on the leg there. So for the most part, it looked like we were going higher either way. So the price action is always right, and in my opinion, they write the news to fit the price action. So I think it's futile to watch the news and try to keep up with it and figure out what's going on. I think you're just fooling yourself if you think you can do that, because even if you knew the news in advance, the market doesn't always do what you think it is. The price action is always right. So go with the price action. Don't worry about the news, because they'll write the news to fit the price action. That's my opinion anyway. So, all right, I'm not going to beat around the bush. We're done a little early today. It's a beautiful day here for a change. Not a cloud in the sky, very low humidity. High today is only about 78, 79 degrees here. So I'm going to get out here early and enjoy a little sunshine this afternoon. We've had so much rain here lately and hot, muggy weather, so it's a really nice day out. Hope you had a good trading day. Hope you're having a good week. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.